All right, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us for the Michigan Green Schools webinar. This is a kickoff to the school year for Michigan Green Schools 24-25. I want to just welcome you first off and thank you for attending. I'm really looking forward to getting this information out to you and hopefully sparking some motivation to get started in Michigan Green Schools projects and activities within your community. So while we are waiting for a few more folks to come into the webinar, I'm going to get our slideshow started off. And if you could just in the chat share who you are, what your role is, what organization you are joining us from, and why you chose to attend today. All right, so I'm going to start by introducing myself. As we get started in our webinar today, feel free to continue introducing yourself in the chat as you join our webinar today. What we have planned for today, I'm going to introduce myself and get into who is on the webinar with us. So I'm Sam Lichtenwald. I'm the statewide coordinator for the Michigan Green Schools program. Joining me today, I have Eileen Bookestein. She is the Environmental Education Manager at the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy. She's going to be monitoring the chat today. So as you have questions that pop up, go ahead and put those into the chat, and she's going to do her best to monitor those and answer those. A few housekeeping items. So our attendee cameras and microphones are disabled, so you won't be able to verbally ask questions. So like I said, make sure you're using that chat. Our webinar will be recorded and a link will be posted onto the Michigan Green Schools website once that recording is published. And you also will be getting a copy of these slides in your email after our webinar today. So we have a packed agenda for our 1 hour together this afternoon. I'm going to be starting with giving a brief overview of the Michigan Green Schools program. Then we're going to dedicate most of our time today towards hearing from a panel of guest speakers about ways to engage in stewardship projects that fulfill Michigan Green School activity requirements towards your environmental designation. We'll wrap up by going over the Michigan Green Schools timeline and share ways that you can continue your journey to achieving a Michigan Green School status. And just remember, if you have a question, go ahead and drop it in the chat and we'll answer those as they come in. So with Michigan Green Schools, the goal here is to support and celebrate the achievements of pre-K through 12 schools in protecting the state's air, land, water, and ecosystems through their commitments to environmental education and stewardship actions. So we're going to talk about the who, what, when, where, why. This is all public and private Michigan pre-K through 12 schools. We are protecting the state's air, land, water, and ecosystems. Every school year, schools will apply annually to achieve a certain designation status. This is happening within the school building and the greater community. And the purpose of this is to celebrate and support stewardship achievements. How we're going to do that is implement community outreach activities. So brief history into the Michigan Green Schools program. It actually started back in 2005 by a group of students in the Harlan Consolidated School District. So this is a student-led initiative. They were already doing stewardship activities and they said, hey, we should probably offer this to other schools to get recognized from the state that they are doing this awesome work within their communities. So in 2006, it was proposed and formally signed into law through Public Act 146 of 2006. And in this really grainy photo over here, you can see then Governor Jennifer Granholm signing that into law. And then again in 2010, Public Act 301 kind of modified the law and it established multiple levels of certification, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Something else to note is that the Michigan Green Schools program was coordinated and managed by a nonprofit for many years. Those of you that have been participating since the beginning know the story behind the nonprofit. In 2021, Eagle took over managing the program, and it was so successful and so much requests for information, they decided actually to hire a full-time position as a statewide coordinator. So if I am a new face to those of you that have been participating with Michigan Green Schools for a long time, that's because my position was just created in June. So how do we become Michigan Green School certified? The legislature is going to lay out a set of activities that can be completed under each of 4 categories. The bare minimum is 10 activities that you need to be completing. 2 need to be done from each of these 4 categories. So there's reduce, reuse, recycle, energy, environmental protection, and miscellaneous. Now, what's really nice about the 2010 amendment is that you can actually be completing other green activities. So you might hear that phrase thrown around a little bit during our webinar and in further conversations about the Michigan Green Schools program. Other green activities are things that you're doing with your students and in your school that would fall under one of these 4 categories, but aren't explicitly written out into the law. So not only did Public Act 301 of 2010 detail those specific activities, which you can find on our Michigan Green Schools webpage, but it also offered a tier level for certification. So Michigan Green Schools are certified because they have completed 10 to 14 activities. You can achieve Michigan Emerald School status at 15 to 19 activities, and you can be a Michigan Evergreen School at 20 or more activities. So again, schools are going to apply for this annually through our online portal. These are the results from the 2023-2024 school year. We had 343 schools across the state of Michigan, which you can see on our map on the right here, that participated and achieved one of the 3 Michigan Green School environmental designations. We do see an uptick since Eagle took over in 2021 managing the program. We also have another program that if you've been an evergreen school for a little while and your school has been doing a lot of progress in your stewardship and sustainability activities within your building or district, you can actually apply for the federal level U.S. Department of Ed Green Ribbon Schools. And that can also be found on our Michigan Green Schools website. So if you are planning on applying this year and you haven't done so before, what we really recommend is using our planning template. Again, it's going to be available on our website, and it will be linked at the end of our slideshow here. So for those of you interested in completing an other green activity, you're also going to need to reach out to your county coordinator. In order to figure out who your county coordinator is, this map that you're seeing on your screen right now is actually interactive on the Michigan Green Schools webpage. What you're going to do is click on your county, and it will populate your green school county coordinator along with their email address. You'll want to reach out to them by December 1st to propose that other green activity. A simple email will suffice, just proposing the details of what kind of an activity you would like to complete and which of the 4 categories it would fall under. And with that, now let's hear from our guest speakers with examples on how you can put all of this work into action.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us here. I am Curtis Shabath with Green Living Science. I'm the Director of Education, but also in the room with us is the other very important person you see on this slide, Izzy. Izzy has actually been here longer than I have, and she does anything from being our pre-K educator, has been our intern twice, as our mascot. If you've ever seen any of our assemblies, she does the most amazing job as the big green bee green that you see also on this slide, and just became, as of last Monday, our education and community coordinator through our AmeriCorps Vista. So this is for all of Green Living Science and what we do with Michigan Green Schools. That's the team. Next slide, please. Beautiful. So this is what we currently do um, in the schools. And we work with schools all throughout Detroit. It's about 99% of who we connect with, DPSCD, charter, and others, and then some outside of the city if they request it. But the mainstay of what we do are what you see here. We try to get to at least 30 plus schools a year. Some of them are legacy schools that we see every single year. Some are brand new, and some are that we haven't seen in a few years. And we get down to it, whether it is the little ones in K through second, the third through fifth, who are just those budding scientists, and the sixth through eighth graders who are really the climate justice advocates of the next generation. And we develop our presentations to be very, very interactive. So we're speaking with them, not at them. They actually answer questions and ultimately start teaching us while we're there in that 35 minutes we have for each assembly. And it also is geared to connect with next generation science standards as well, not only checking off 3 of the 4 boxes that you possibly could in the certification for Michigan Green Schools, but we have to make sure we're on par for the school districts that we service. It's also just like with our pre-K, we're not just talking about it, we're being about it. We give every single family who is eligible the ability to have a free recycling cart at their home. Detroit, if y'all don't know, it's included in your taxes. So if you're a Detroiter, them taxes are already taking care of your waste removal, but you actually have to opt in as opposed to most places opt out. That $25 burden to get that big blue bin is large for a lot of students' families in Detroit. So we take care of that after the education. It's a full circle. Izzy gets them right when they start learning about these things, and they are the most excitable in pre-K. She goes into their classrooms, and she does about 45 classrooms every year. And she gets them singing and dancing and repeating, and they even get a book that they get to take home so they can share with their family, have those recycle reminders before they matriculate up to kindergarten and so forth, seeing what we'll do in the assemblies from. So we're literally trying to get them as soon as they get into a Detroit school, and then all the way out, not to skip over the Everyday is Earth Day, but all the way prepping them to get into the college aspect with our Student Recycling Ambassadors program. But before I get to that, the Everyday is Earth Day is a full circle, 1-day event that it's a school every year in Detroit for now. We're trying to bring it on site to the zero waste education space we're building over at Lincoln Street Art Park. If you're not familiar with that, come out, see it, look it up. It's a great space. We've been working to re-beautify and make a classroom out of a shipping container. But Every Day is Earth Day is that full circle for one select school every year that has done pre-K, that has done assemblies. And when we bring in a bunch of our partners, y'all could be one of them, that have a activation station. And we run about 200, 300 students, K through second, POHI, MOCI, and get them hands-on. Anything from seeing how a recycling truck works, to how human power can make a blender work, to recycling relays, getting them really, really moving and grooving and getting into that space for everything that they saw inside. Now they're having fun with it. And they always have takeaways too. We give them an activity book as well that's helped us by many of our phenomenal sponsors. And then we get the true ones, the difference makers, the ones that we are going to be looking for or working for, my apologies, as soon as they get into college or whatever space they're going to be in. These are our Detroit high schoolers. This is a application-based program. They get stipends because they teach, they are taught, and they get into the communities and help community members become recyclers as well. And these are some of the most phenomenal young minds that we get the pleasure of spending a week with every single year. So our journey on the education side truly is from trying to get in front of them their first day of school and be there until they head into college. And the big focus is around that, environmental energy that we all can benefit from. And then the last slide, please. And then this is as of last year. So we do this every year. It does change, obviously, you know how this works. Last year, we had an incredible jam-packed year. In the matter of January to June, we were able to see nearly 10,000 students just within the city of Detroit. You can see all the numbers there. I won't read it to y'all. I know y'all can read. Everybody here is very, very smart, but impact is key. But impact in action is also key. Nearly 10% of the families of those students were able to have a free recycling cart at their home after we activated at their school. So they got the education, they got the empowerment, and now they are doing it. They are part of that 41% and growing of Detroit who can recycle. And we see that matriculation all the way through from pre-K to that high school. We are trying big things, though, this year. We are trying to expand our footprint. We're trying to get into more schools and more classrooms. Definitely, again, the focus is on Detroit, but we're open to Southeast Michigan as well. We can always have chats on that. If you are from one of those schools, we're extremely open to it. We are also looking at bringing more programming back too, possibly getting that Earth Day event into multiple schools or bringing multiple schools to us if we have the viability, capability, and funding to finish that zero waste education space, or even the field trips to bring smaller groups, not just schools, mostly schools, but school groups, Girl Scouts, things along those lines, into our space that we're developing, and then expanding on the information and offerings that not only, again, do that empowerment, that education, that equity throughout all the environmental things we show, but in any program, especially in the schools, to have them in a space where they can become a Michigan Green school. And one of the things that we have been working tirelessly on for the last few years is we created an entire educators page that if you go to it, you find your grade, you say you're a third grade teacher, you go to our website, you click educator resources, find a third grade. We have developed activities and lessons and put out links for videos and grants for your classroom, anything along those lines that we continuously update throughout the year. So we're just trying to have full circle programming from first year to last year, from A to Z, anything we can cover from the environmental impact side of things for students, teachers, and their community. That is, in the shortest, quickest, fastest portion I could possibly do, Green Living Science and what we do from the education side of things.
Hard act to follow because I know Green Living Science does so many amazing things. So thank you, Curtis. My name is Maddie Oberthauser. I am a recycling specialist at Eagle. So I work in the materials management division. And I'm here to talk about some resources that we have for you all. If you can go to the next slide. You might be asking, what is materials management and why are we talking about this and how is it relevant to Michigan Green Schools? And the next slide will show that we currently are creating waste. We have this take, make, use, waste mindset. This is how we currently are managing the stuff we take from nature, that we use, and then we create waste. But it's not waste until we waste it. And on the next slide, I'll show you this alternative where we can reduce the amount of waste through what I'm sure many of you know as the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. And there are many more R's that come along with that. But reduce, reuse, recycle is one of the Michigan Green Schools categories. And so I'm here to talk a little bit about what resources we have. On the next slide, I will show you Michigan recycling goals. So we do have this goal of 45% beyond 2030. By 2029, we hope to achieve 30%. And as of last year, we're hitting 23%. So we are really accelerating, and we know that every sector is really critical to improving the recycling rate and our goals for food waste reduction as well. So the state of Michigan hopes to see a 50% total reduction of food loss and waste throughout the entire food system. And so we are working really hard to make that a reality. Next slide, please. We have some support opportunities through the Materials Management Division. We provide recycling infrastructure grants. These infrastructure grants are what we always say are things. So if you're looking for carts or trucks, dumpsters, anything that you would buy an item, those items could be covered under recycling infrastructure grant. If you're looking for a food waste specific 3R activity, you can look into our organics infrastructure grant. Again, these are for physical things. We even, would go so far as to say you could get a digester, you could get a composting system. You could, again, just get those containers to collect them in. And we're open to having conversations about, what these things, what's considered being an infrastructure item, an opportunity. And we also have a Next Cycle Accelerator program through the state of Michigan. This is a technical assistance program that has different topical tracks. Right now, there's an application open for the flows track, which is also the organics management. And there's actually an informational session tomorrow. I'll put that in the chat once my quick spiel is over. So that way, if you're interested, I can provide that information. Next slide. I am one of the recycling specialists, but there's a whole team of us. We provide technical assistance to anyone and everyone who wants to learn more, do more in recycling and waste diversion. So if you're struggling with program implementation or your program's going great, but you're not sure how to take it to the next step, we are happy to provide any sort of support, best practices. If you're having trouble with funding mechanisms or internal policy, we can provide information there. All of these things and so much more. You just reach out to us on the next slide is, I believe, our contact information. So we are regional. Personally, I'm in the Southeast Michigan region, right along the river there. But you can see here, and this is on our website, all of our recycling specialists are available on a regional basis. So reach out to yours, and we can help you guys out improving your recycling programs so that you can become a Michigan Green School. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Vishal Swami, and I'm a senior at Novi High School here in Michigan. And I also serve as the founder and chair for the Stewards Sustainability Leadership Institute 4-H Club, which is here in Novi, Michigan. And our primary goal is to help youth across the state, whatever field they're interested in within environmental sustainability. They pick something and then we guide them through developing an action project and actually implementing it. So that's what we work on. We've been working on for the past 4 years. And we're involved in many different projects, and I'm glad to hear some of the recycling elements as well as the education components from these other speakers that we're also very involved in. But this next slide, I'm going to share one of our successful projects and how it can kind of relate with green schools and some of the projects that students are working on. So this project initially began with 2 high school students, just me and another student from Novi. And we were very passionate about solar. And we began with a pilot project with Oakland County all the way back in 2023. Got the feedback from that pilot project, and now we're kind of focused on that expansion, and we were able to secure a large amount of budgeting for that project, and are even expanding into our local city communities as well. So this began just as something started by 2 students here in Novi as a kind of like a school project, and with a focus on the community, we then went and expanded, and we're looking to make even more of an impact. So when you're looking to come up with an idea for a project, or you're currently working on a project, always keep in mind that community element and how you can impact your community and expand what you're already doing. So definitely keep that in mind for this. And if you have any questions about the solar project, you can let me know. But the next 2 initiatives that 2 of the students from our 4-H club will be discussing, we'll explain more about how you can get involved and learn more about different projects. So I'll just start with a quick intro on this one and then let Kaustubh talk about the rest. So the United Nations Regional Center High School Council is an opportunity here in Metro Detroit for students in all ages in high school to get involved. And if you're currently working on a project within your school district in this area, we can find you a partner within the UN or some of these regional areas to help you with your project at school. So if you are interested in something like that, you're seeking someone to work with and partner with your school, definitely get involved with this. And I'll have Cowstub explain really quick why he joined and what the impact was there.
Yeah, hi there. My name is Kowstub. I'm a sophomore at Novi High School, and I decided to join this project because I'm very passionate for the planet, so I wanted to make some impact, and I felt this is a great opportunity for me. And it also allowed me to make some personal growth and develop leadership skills. And on top of that, it helped me make an impact on my community. And I think this is a great project for many high school students like myself to develop leadership skills, gain hands-on experience, and make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Cowstub. And once again, if anyone's looking for a partner or even to use this UNRCE as a partner, definitely let us know and we can help you out with your Green Schools projects. And the next slide. Sayabi, this is.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Sayabria Makaraju, and I'm also a sophomore at Novi High School. And I'm one of the youth from SSLI helping to lead the Eagle Youth Advisory Committee. And I'm just here to talk a little bit about what we are and how to join if anyone's interested. So the general premise of this committee is that we're a 20 plus student member council that works on everything related to the environment. We have monthly meetings with Eagle educators, and we work on a bunch of different projects with several different working groups. We even have one dedicated to the Green Schools program, and this is really just an opportunity for students to get more involved and to learn about new projects and ways that they can do environmental things in their school. So some of the things that we've previously done is create social media posts for this event, which I'm sure you've seen. We're working on campaigns and ways students can get more involved with Green Schools programs in their schools, and we're working on some ways to integrate youth voices into sustainability plans at school. So if anyone feels like this would be an interesting opportunity for them or something that they want to participate in, please contact me or Vishal. We're open to have as many youth as possible. Thank you.
And as youth leaders within your respective schools or even teachers, if you feel that a student would be a great fit for this, definitely let them know, and to stay connected with the Green Schools program as well as other youth across the state who are also doing projects. I think the final slide is Lily.
Hi, my name is Lily. I'm a freshman at the University of Vermont, and I'm here to talk about the why of all this. So why is being invested in climate issues and Michigan Green Schools important? Participating in Michigan Green Schools prompts students to take initiative on projects such as creating an environmental club or implementing a composting program. This is both educational and empowering for students. They show themselves they can become involved in the environmental movement and create positive change in their community. It also gives students a chance to gain vital leadership and teamwork experience, something that carries with them throughout their lives. On a more general note, students should become involved with environmental issues because they are the future leaders who will face the long-term impacts of climate change. Engaging with these issues empowers and motivates them to create positive change and solutions for our planet. A way they can do this is through involvement with Michigan Green Schools. I'm sure that many of you already know the importance of becoming involved with environmental issues, but just to really hit home the importance of Michigan Green Schools in case you're on the fence about implementing it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lily. And just to end off, for anyone who is interested in any of these programs, and especially Green Schools, I would say definitely get involved, learn more about the program, because it has impacted all of us in a great way. And we have really grown as leaders through this environmental process. So really excited to see where all of you kind of progress within your respective journey. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Aspen Shupek. I'm the education specialist for the Grand Traverse Conservation District. So the big thing that we do is empowering and inspiring our local community. That is kind of at the forefront of what we do, and I have the opportunity to oversee our pre-K through 12 educational programming, as well as our nature preschool and our nature day camp. The big thing we do with our field trips, we call them nature education for students and teachers. We fondly call them NEST programs, but through these programs, We're hitting NGSS standards. We bring students out to our nature center along the Boardman-Ottaway River in Traverse City, where we have about 400 acres that we are able to explore and have access to. So we have a variety of programs that meet those NGSS standards and also encompass stewardship. And we really focus on developing a sense of place with these students. So as we start bringing these students out year after year, we have kindergartners who have come to the Nature Center for 5 years in a row, and they're able to kind of see the progression over time. So the really cool thing about the Boardman River Nature Center is that in 2018, we removed the last dam for the Sabin Pond. So with that, the whole community has kind of overseen our river restoration project as time goes on, and now we're getting students involved. So outside of our general environmental education field trips that cover a wide variety of topics, we're also partnering with local schools for stewardship opportunities like tree planting along the river, helping with that river restoration, helping ensure that we are decreasing soil erosion and we're improving water quality, as well as developing a more beneficial native habitat and ecosystem around the river and on our parklands. We also partner with a really cool school called Greenspire, where they focus on project-based learning in the Montessori style. And so they'll come to us with ideas for rain gardens or to develop a riparian buffer. And we work with them to help plant and figure out what species are going to be most beneficial in the area, as well as connect them to local landscape design artists who specialize in these native plants. We also partner with our Career Tech Center. So 11th and 12th graders within our community can choose to go here, and we work with the agriculture program. So they help us do tire recycling, they help us collect native seeds in the fall, they help us plant pollinator gardens, and all of these really wonderful things. And that's kind of just a small part of what we've been transitioning to over the past year or two. And now we're trying to take it bigger and reach out to schools outside of the Montessori style, reach out to these public schools to bring them out for tree plantings on a larger scale and to help them plant trees and create their own little school forests or pollinator gardens within their little areas. Yeah, that's pretty much what we do. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Emma Witkowski. I'm a 5th grade teacher at Aberdeen Academy, part of Grand Rapids Public School System. And last year I was in charge of a very large project that we did. I noticed a gap in my students' learning of how the United States was constructed. And one of my standards is to teach how the United States became the United States, and students could barely differentiate between a state and a city. So I started making a book, and that book was just basics. It was the state name, the region, the abbreviation, a weird law, and then on the back I was drawing a bunch of the state symbols for each state. And when I got to Michigan, I noticed that we didn't have an insect, and my students will tell you that I love bugs. And so I said something to my husband, and he said, "You should have your students write to Lansing." And I said, I wonder how that'll work. And it was incredible. I came to school shortly after, and I asked the students what they thought of it. And of course, they thought they were going to get famous, so they were all in on it. And I asked them, what do you think we should do? And I have 2 tattoos of aquatic insects on my legs, and they've learned about those prior to this conversation. And they were like, we should do the stonefly because it's one of your favorites, Ms. Witkowski. So then I actually kind of built on that. And I said, this is why I like it so much. What do you guys think? And they were all game for it. So we worked on the book. I then contacted Matt Bain at LGRO, which is Lower Grand River Organization of Watersheds. And he's an aquatic specialist there. And he came in, taught my students more about watersheds because it's technically a 6th grade standard. And but because this had so much connected to it, he was willing to come in, and we ended up taking the students to a small stream in Ada, Michigan, which is just outside of Grand Rapids. It's known to be quite healthy. And you can see in the pictures there that we did some collecting. The student in the middle, he is doing the full-blown report that you do when you go out aquatic sampling. We involved a lot of math with it because you have to multiply and divide. And it was something that was well beyond their years, but they were able to do it because of the excitement that it involved. We pushed really hard for waiters for the district. So we have a large set of waiters so students have access to it from any Grand Rapids public school. But they were able to see giant stoneflies, which are their name is pteronarces, and then common stoneflies, which are paralids. They are two different species. But they were also able to see hellgrammites, water scorpions, mayflies, scuds, giant water bugs, caddisflies, and many more. They were able to see how all of the insects connect to the fish and other animals that live in the watershed, and see how those food webs really come together, which is one of our science standards in 5th grade. We wrote the letters to Representative Hood's office in an attempt to educate and persuade everyone in the office about how the stonefly is important to our ecosystems. And they then got to meet her when she came to our class to talk about how a bill becomes a law. And they really loved that. They each got a copy of the bill when she passed it out, and now we're just waiting. The class that I have this year is also very interested in being part of it. We just wrote our letters to Representative Hood's office, and they're going to edit them and send them out soon as well. So that's kind of our exciting adventure that we've had for the last year, and now on to our 2nd year.
Well, I think this is where I jump in. Thank you, Emma, for your wonderful work to make sure that kids in Michigan and in Grand Rapids, and even more specifically in the 81st House District, get a chance to really experience, understand, and advocate for our watersheds. My name is Rachel Hood. I'm a state representative for the 81st House District, serving Grand Rapids Township, Ada Township, and a little bit of Plainfield as well. In my role in the House, I also serve as the chair of the House Eagle budget on the Committee on Appropriations. So I care a lot about the future of our state, about the work that Eagle does, focused on environment, Great Lakes, and energy, making sure that we are passing forward a wonderful future for the people of the state. And there's nothing more important and more fundamental to that than understanding our natural ecosystems, understanding the value of our fresh water and our unique role in the world to protect that fresh water and pass it forward for many generations to come. And I really believe and have believed for quite some time that there's no better way than to get a kid in waders and into a stream with a passionate teacher and maybe some volunteers who also love the water and love our natural world. It is just so inspiring to see. And then Ms. Witkowski brings it to another level and adds in the powerful policy piece of advancing the stonefly as a state insect. It was a joy to take the idea that the students had and to introduce the bill, which is now House Bill 5563. We're working with State Representative Lori Pahatsky, who serves as the chair of the Committee of Natural Resources and Environment, Tourism, and Outdoor Recreation, to bring the bill up and hopefully to pass it into law. believe it or not, we do have some significant competition and a few other groups of students across the state who are quite passionate about butterflies. So we have 3 different butterfly proposals and compromise to potentially allow one butterfly to become the state insect. But we submit that the stonefly is a better insect. It has 3 life stages and real metamorphoses. And it is such a great symbol for Michigan as one of the key water quality bugs that we can find when we get that privilege of gently stepping into one of our streams and getting to watch how the whole system works. So we are continuing to advocate hard for the state insect bill and the stoneflies at Aberdeen Elementary. That is, I believe now their team name, and really excited to take that work forward. This is the rich work of community. And it's been built over many years by a variety of partners, the Lower Grand River Organization of Watersheds, also the West Michigan Environmental Action Council and Grand Rapids Public Schools, who have all made a commitment to ensure that kids at GRPS have exposure to watershed education, place-based education, so that we can work together to value our water into the future. I think the opportunity for young people to see how government works and how they can bring their voice to the halls of Lansing to influence the state will have reverberations for the rest of these students' lives. They will be leaders in a variety of industries, whether they be teachers or sustainability professionals working to innovate a circular economy and plastics recycling, if they're engineers or if they're nurses and healthcare providers, they will now understand that when they need changes to happen in our world, one of the ways to achieve that is through policy in the state legislature. And they'll have maybe, after 20 years or so, that memory of Miss Wachowski's 5th grade class will be a little bit fuzzy, but they'll know where to start and how to contact their state legislator. And maybe they'll even consider, as their passion grows and they begin to understand issues even better, maybe they'll consider being a state legislator themselves, right? This is work where we pass the baton forward, and it is exciting to see kids getting involved in that. So thank you all for everything you're doing to deliver real projects across our communities that help to lighten our load on the planet. I am inspired by all of you and your deep commitment, not just to greening up schools, but also to inspiring new generations of citizens who will help to care for the world as we move forward. And in this very special, globally unique place that is Michigan, here situated in 20% of the world's fresh water. Thank you so much for having me today. And let's continue forward with the event.
Thank you so much to all of you that participated as guest speakers. I didn't even know all of these things that are going on. So I hope that everybody on the webinar today was able to come up with some really great examples to see what this work can do within your classrooms and your broader community. So again, thank you so much for each of our guest speakers. We are going to spend the rest of our time together this afternoon talking about what's next. So we're going to look at the timeline for the Michigan Green Schools program, some upcoming events, and then a way that you can continue that conversation and learn more within your own community and region. So for our Michigan Green Schools program, on the Michigan Green Schools webpage, I'm going to keep saying that, go to the Michigan Green Schools webpage. That's where you can find those explicit activities that are written into the legislature. as well as a PDF of suggested other green activities. And I have been kind of poking into the chat a little bit, and I saw someone asked, well, what do I do about those green activities that I've had proposed before? So your county coordinator right now is your go-to person. So really make sure you're in conversation with your county coordinator. Some of our counties do not have a designated coordinator at the moment, so that would be me. You would reach out to me, and Eileen has been adding in the chat what that Eagle Michigan Green Schools email address is to reach out directly to me. So on the Michigan Green Schools webpage, you will find a template for planning your projects. Our online application is going to open in January. However, you're going to have to complete that application in one sitting. So the best way to go about applying as smoothly as possible is to document those activities as you're doing them throughout the school year. There is a Microsoft Word and a Google Doc form of that template. It will show you screenshots of exactly what the online application will look like, along with each of the description sections that you will need to complete when you sit down to do your application in 2025. So check that out first. That way you know what to expect when you get to the application. If you haven't already, I'm going to encourage you to start your environmental stewardship project now. It's still kind of nice weather out there. We can get the kids out there and assessing what is on your school grounds, what's in your community, what kind of community partners we can engage with and accomplish still yet in the 24-25 school year. And again, it really starts with those connections. So you can do things within your own classroom, but you can also broaden your network and reach within your school building. Maybe you're talking to your facilities management folks that are mowing the lawn. Maybe you want to put in a community garden at your schoolyard or a pollinator garden. You want to make sure that you're connecting with the school building facilities management team so that they know not to mow it over as you're putting those plantings in. Maybe you want to reach out further into your community and talk to community partners such as the conservation district in your area, like we heard from Aspen today. December 1st is a key date to keep in mind. That is when you need to have had that conversation, even through email, with your county coordinator to get any of those other green activity requests approved. Again, it just can be as simple as this is my proposal, this is what I want to do, what category it would fall under, and when we will be completing that activity. January is when our online application will open, January 1. It will close on March 9th. So in order to assist as best we can folks that are applying online, we are going to have our environmental education office hour dedicated solely to the Michigan Green Schools online application. That's going to take place on January 17. Eileen's going to link the link on the Eagle Classroom webpage into the chat for you. It will also be linked at the end of this slideshow so that you can see that. Just a side note, we do have ongoing monthly environmental education office hours that are open every month. You can register for free. It's 1 hour at a time, and you can ask any question about MEECS, which is a environmental education curriculum. You can ask about our lending station where you can borrow Enviro Learningscapes and H2OQ backpacks, things that will help assist in those educational activities. And you can also ask about Michigan Green Schools. But I do want to highlight that January 17 is going to be specific to the online application support. Again, January through March, you're going to be applying online. I would not wait until March 9 if you can avoid it. What's going to happen is your county coordinator will receive a notification that your online application has been submitted. What they can do through the online portal is see your application and actually give you feedback. Maybe you selected the wrong category, or you miscounted, or maybe there wasn't quite enough of a description in your activity list, and they might offer some suggestions or feedback to fix up that application. And then you can get in there and fix that with your county coordinator. We will have one final push at our Michigan Science Teacher Association conference coming up that first weekend of March. That's why it is ending on a funny date instead of March 1. MSTA will be held on March 7th and 8th, concluding on the 9th. So we want to make sure that if you still have questions and you're not sure exactly how to fill out that application, both Eileen and myself will be at MSTA this spring. And so you can find us at the Eagle table or join us at one of our presentations, and we can help you with that Michigan Green Schools application as well. Finally, just realized we had some highlighting things here. So in April through May, your proposed activities, so those need to be completed by the end of the school year. We get a lot of questions about what is the time frame that I'm completing activities. We are focusing on a school year basis. So we come together as a school in a class. We want to have those activities done by the end of the school year so that the students that are participating in that can celebrate together. There is no firm deadline on that, but it is for applications on March 9th. You can propose activities that you will be doing within that school year still in April and May. We don't want it to just be an idea. We want to have those details fully fleshed out so that you know you're still going to teach a unit on alternative energy, and you're going to be completing that the week of Earth Day, April 22nd. Maybe you're going to have a community event where you're inviting your community partners and the parents of your community and your students to come in and talk about alternative energy that you just learned that week. So as long as you have those details figured out, you absolutely can include those activities on your application, even though they are taking place after that March 9th application deadline. Part of our required activities that can qualify for your Michigan Green Schools application, that might include celebrating Earth Day in your local community. So I encourage you, again, reach out to your county coordinators. They are kind of a regional hub for you to assist with some of those ongoing efforts in your area. Earth Day events can be hosted at your own school, or maybe you're just completing an activity or celebrating with an existing community event. And then finally, I want to have May 20th on your calendar. So we are going to do our Michigan Student Sustainability Summit hosted in Lansing at the Michigan State University campus STEM Learning Facility building. So when you are finishing that application, January through March, you're going to get an automated message that tells you, congratulations, you filled out the application, your county coordinator has been notified, your building administrator has been notified. Now go sign up for the Michigan Student Sustainability Summit. We are offering this to high school and middle school classes and high school student groups. So we do have to limit a little bit about our we have to limit a little bit with our space just because of the venue. So you'll want to make sure to get registered as soon as you can when that registration link is open in the spring. All right, so where to learn more? We have our Michigan Green Schools webpage. That is kind of a working space. So we right now have what the legislature looks like in terms of the required activities that you can be completing towards your application. We also have the PDF for suggested other green activities. Again, really make sure that you have your other green activities pre-approved by your county coordinator. About that. Another thing that you could be doing is signing up for our Michigan Green Schools newsletter. That is coming out every other month during the school year. There's about 5 to 6 issues for the Michigan Green Schools newsletter that will be specific about green schoolyards, activities that you can be doing, professional development opportunities, perhaps grants that you could be applying for. So that is a good resource specific to Michigan Green Schools. Again, email those county coordinators. If you have not introduced yourself and said that you are planning on applying, make sure you do that so that they are aware there's schools that they could be supporting within their county as well. We have those environmental education office hours. You can sign up in our Eagle Classroom webpage. And finally, if you have additional questions, make sure you're reaching out to me, the statewide coordinator for the program, at eagle-mi-green-schools@michigan.gov. So again, I want to thank you for your time and dedication to your schools and communities and participating in these environmental stewardship activities. The work that you do is instrumental in promoting these green efforts within your communities, promoting that sense of stewardship and pride within your schools and for your students. So keep up the great work. We do have about 5 minutes left. If you have a few more questions, I'll stay on and we can continue that chat for a few more minutes. But with that, I just want to do another thank you to our guest speakers for sharing your insights. Our slides will be pushed out as a PDF and emailed to you shortly. And the webinar will have that recording pushed out on YouTube, and the link will also be mailed with that PDF. So with that, thank you very much. We'll stay on for a few more moments for some chat questions, and have a great afternoon.
Sam, do you want to try to address that question about the summer? Somebody asked.
Yeah, let me scroll back up.
The question was, what school year do you count summer activities for?
Oh, that's a great question. So it is not explicitly written into the legislature what the time frame is on that. Some county coordinators will count it one way or the other. Right now, it's kind of up to your county and your county coordinator on how you want it to handle the summer activities. There is no guidance from the state level on whether the summer would be the summer before or the summer after. If it were me, I would offer that maybe you want to do your summer activities in the summer before your application. That way it's very clear those activities were done. We can get those approvals out and celebrate with the students that are coming into that class and have been doing that work during the school year. I hope that answered it. I see another question about county coordinator. I had a question about county coordinator.
Someone had asked if there is not a listed county coordinator, who is their county coordinator? And so the answer is, if there is not currently somebody in that role, our Eagle Environmental Ed team takes on that role. So Samantha will be the one who reviews your application, and you can reach out to that Eagle Green Schools email address.
Yeah.
But also, if you're in that county and you know somebody who would be a good county coordinator, let us know, because it is on our list to fill all the vacancies in all the counties.
Yeah, so focus on municipal leaders, local government, conservation district folks, anybody at the ISD level. Those are the individuals that can apply to be a county coordinator. So yes, I echo what Eileen said. If you know of anybody that is passionate about this and is willing to be that regional hub for your county and evaluate those applications in the spring, please send them my way.
Could you also send out in the follow-up email that survey for partners if they wanted to support the Green Schools program?
I did not link that anywhere. I saw that you put it in the chat, so I really appreciate that. I will include that in our follow-up communication, and we need to figure out a way to get that out to the broader community. So that link is specific to community partners that Eileen had put in there. If you are working for an organization, maybe you're a parent, maybe you work for a business, maybe you're involved as a Friends of a State Park. If you want to be involved in some capacity, whether it is coming in and being a guest speaker, maybe you have the ability to offer time and help teachers that are trying to take their students on a field trip. Maybe you have resources that you can offer for loan. Maybe you want to sponsor an event that they are trying to get to by offering financial benefits for or financial reimbursement for busing for the school children to get there. So any of those opportunities that you might have for your local schools, please fill out that survey And that's going to give you a space to A, give us your contact information, and then also B, share what capacity you are able and willing to offer that support. All right, so we are running towards our 5 o'clock end time. So I'm going to give one last thank you to all of you that stuck around and asked questions. Continue to ask those questions. Reach out to myself, to Eileen. And again, thank you so much. And we will see you on the next one. Have a great rest of your afternoon.